Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Deb Coviello, founder of Illumination Partners and the Drop-In CEO community. I would love to and thank you for being here today for Live Talk Media with my amazing guest, Keziah Robinson. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks so much for having me, Deb.
All right, so I'm excited to bring you on again. Keziah and I have known each other for several months. We came across each other, talking to each other about, being on the podcast and such. And, she just is an amazing entrepreneur, business leader. And I just want to take some time to introduce her to you. She does amazing work. And Keziah, would love for you just to share a little bit about, who you are, what do you do, who do you serve, and, just please share with everybody.
Absolutely. Thanks, Deb. So I'm a business coach, I say that, but I work with CEOs, founders, business owners, and it really helped them connect with their vision and then execute on the vision. It's been interesting because my whole, as in the coaching practice, our lives bring us to where we are. And one of the things that I really came to understand is we often just need permission to dream. So a lot of what I do with my clients is giving them, permission to even access the dreams that they have. And then when we go to execution, and this is something you and I have talked in the past, is I really find people are addicted to hard work and they're addicted to the concept of effort and how much that success is based, no pain, no gain, and based on the effort. And a lot of the tools and exercises I bring people through really help them shift to understand that it's not about how much individual effort you put in, it's really about the collective achievement. And that when you start to operate from that position of what are we really trying to do instead of what are we trying to get done, then you start to see a lot of efficiency in your business, and it really makes decisions so much easier, and you can really just grow the business and scale the business to another level. So it's a lot of fun.
So if I can break this down a little bit, because all of the things what leaders should do is they should set vision and mission and they should execute. And then obviously, then once they're executing, do it in a way that serves them. And they're not just working for the business, they're growing their business. But what is it along the way that they can set their vision and mission, but they can't execute, or they execute, but they're just not doing it in a way that serves them? So where is it that you come in and make this a little bit smoother for them?
I work with people who are coming from startup pre-revenue on a special basis, because that's a very unique type of person to really take a business from 0 to $1 million, right? Or $1 billion, depending on where they're trying to go. But the bulk of my clients are people who they've lost the mojo. They're 10, 15 years into the business, and it started getting really difficult for them. And they're in the habit of grinding through things. And often that's why I say they're really in the habit of valuing effort and not looking at the ease, and that you want to be more efficient, that things should be coming easier to you. And so I often find that what they've done is really grown the business to the limits of their fingertips. They cannot grow it beyond the limits of their control. And so that's a lot of what you find when people come in, where they've had success, but they just can't crack through. And that's often where I'm going to come in, and we'll go back. And sometimes there isn't. I wish that everybody had mission and vision. Sometimes they haven't done that work. Yeah. But a lot of times it is that process of just understanding that you're not alone in this business, that you are not, Barbara Sher calls it pathological individualism, something that we suffer from. And it's big in American culture. And it's very big in the entrepreneurial set and in the business world, this idea that you alone through the hard work will achieve everything, as opposed to really thinking about it as a collective effort.
This is exactly just that was the nugget. That was the nugget of why I wanted to bring you on, because you serve others that get to a point that are stuck, crisis, burnt out, whatever that wall is, and you kind of unleash that potential by just helping them through it and finding a better way. And so I love that about you. But this segues a little bit into the work that you and I did together. You and I, again, we just kind of built this, I don't know, relationship. And then when I was talking to you about your talking points, your messaging, you're already a successful business leader. But as we got through it, it was not clear to me precisely the talking points that you have, own, and how you serve others. And oh my goodness, you've nailed it. You've totally nailed it.
Well, thanks to you, right? Yeah, I mean, it was such a wonderful connection with you. And sometimes we don't know why people come into our lives.
Mhm.
Um, but when you do have that kind of connection, it's really amazing to just grasp onto it and
So
to continue to deepen the relationship.
and that's why you're on here today as well.
Yeah.
So just a couple questions because it just all of a sudden became a point where I wanted to help you. And you then also came to a place where you said, I think I need help. What was
Mhm.
going on that made you know, feel, or believe, I just need a little bit of help? And we started to work together. What was that?
Well, I wish I could say it was just the first time I needed the help, right? But it was a process of, it's especially trying to do things myself and looking back and going, I tried to do that and was not having the success that I wanted. And to kind of often going through the notes, the dreams or the lists, the things we've made in the past, and go, what's number 3, 4, 5? What are the things that keep dragging along? Because if something's number 5 for a year, it's really number 1.
Mm.
And to look at that, and for me, a lot of it was being clear and who I wanted to serve. And I had to do some of that work to myself in order to be able to even ask for help with the messaging. So there's part of that, but a lot of it is also to the point of permission. Is I felt very much that I could ask you. I had the confidence that I could ask, but also that you would help me. And that is something I work with people, and I know we find it where they're, instead of, we sort of intentionally ask the wrong people, or we ask for the wrong thing because we're not yet ready to ask. And so I've had clients who say, well, I've talked to 15 lawyers about this. And it's like, but you don't need a lawyer when you're trying to decide whether you want to sell your business.
Oh my God.
You are the person, you need to talk to someone who can help you understand what your goals are. And so there is that tendency for us to solicit information from people who are never going to be able to help us. Um,
So
so
that's amazing. I mean, what
yeah,
you basically said is if you know that you needed some help or a change, you had to do that self-assessment yourself, onto yourself. And you did just that.
yeah,
And so then we had some conversations about trying to really get very clear on what you do and how you help people.
right,
And I'm curious now that we've spent a little time, I know you're still honing it in. What's
right.
been the impact? Like, what have you realized after we spoke and after we spent some time together? How has it impacted you?
I really understood, I think, how important it was for me to participate in the dreaming and to really work with the clients. And one of the core things I use in my toolkit is the idea of energy management, like your and it is a wonderful leading talking point to talk about energy investment and how we manage our mental and emotional energy, and to kind of get away from time productivity and stop talking about money and looking really at energy as our fundamental commodity. But I realized that part of, like, one of the really important things was to help people connect with the dream. And so that's something I wasn't really selling, and wasn't really out there, and to kind of put that more into the focus. So that, because if you have everything on the dream is all set, I might not be, right? You might need some coaching, but you maybe need more of an execution consultant. You might need somebody with your kind of expertise, right, who can really show you the ropes in terms of setting up some operational components of the business. And it's not that I can't work with you, but I always want people to spend their money, time, energy, effort with, if they're going to do it, spend it with the right person. So that was one for me, really, to understand how important the dreaming and to touch people and really reach out to people about the dream, and not to shy away from that because it sounded too coachy.
And that's what I love is because when I started my business, I said, well, yes, I am doing consulting, but it's not just consulting. Consulting may have a bad rap. We just give advice, but we don't partner with people to achieve something. For you, it's
Right.
the dream. And I remember in our conversation, it was, okay, I help people, look at their P&L and do X, Y, and Z.
Right.
No, it was just so much more, emotional from the heart and the mind, and then that clarity. And so I'm so excited that our time together has
Yeah.
helped. And I know you're going to continue to do great things, and your messaging and connecting with the right people is going to be fantastic. So I guess from the standpoint of just realizing you need to ask for help, If we were talking to your community or the Drop-in CEO community, what are a couple, 1, 3 tips that you would offer about having the courage to simply ask?
Well, I think the first one is to have the courage to ask someone to help you figure out what questions you should be asking in the first place.
Huge.
um,
Excellent.
and that is part uh, of the confidence that, and I think that fundamentally it is about confident people ask for help all the time. They don't feel guilt that they don't know something. They're like, oh yeah, well, I can't know everything.
Mhm.
Let me go find someone who might have helped me with that. So I do think that one of the things is to say, let me look at the people who are close to me and solicit some help on what is the question I even want to ask.
Yes.
And if you don't have, and sometimes I'm like, if you don't have anyone close to you that you could have that conversation with, then you really, like, if that's, then oh, we need help finding and building a community of people who can help you answer that question.
Yep.
So, and that's where reaching out to people like us who, we may not be in your direct community now, but we can certainly be part of that and part of that ecosystem. So I think step one is understanding what question you want to ask. And almost everything from that becomes downstream, because then you're going, well, all right, I know what question I want to ask. Who would know the answer, or who would be able to provide help? Often, one thing I know, when I left corporate world, I would go to lunch with people and I'd say, well, what do you want to do? And I would look at them and go, well, if I knew what I wanted to do, don't you think we'd be having lunch with me telling you I want to do that X? How can you help me do X, right? So there's also a sense of understanding who you want to ask the questions of. And then this is the biggest one, is the receiving help. And that is to just say thank you. I always say, put that on a note, stick it on here, whatever, thank you. So if anyone offers, thank you. You may say no, thank you. But instead of going, I'll take care of it. And so I think I often suggest sticky notes on your computer, wherever, get in the habit of saying, yes, thank you.
All right.
And that's probably the tactical piece, is that sticky note. And then the I think is really important for people.
Actionable steps. Perfect. Just
Mhm.
knowing what questions to ask, who
Yeah.
to surround yourself with to be able to ask those questions, and then receiving feedback and expressing gratitude.
Yeah.
Amazing. So, this has been amazing. If I could just jump in here, I sincerely enjoy doing these LinkedIn Lives every week. If you enjoy this, please show up. We're on every week, 12 Eastern time on Wednesdays. We'd love you to be part of the Drop-in CEO community. And if you love this work, we also have the Drop-in CEO podcast, where we share and give so much leadership, management, entrepreneurial insights twice a week. Please subscribe, rate, and review so we can continue to bring you great programming. And I know if you want to have a conversation that you know that you're ready to ask the right questions and need the right support system, check out my website, dropinceo.com/contact, and let's have a conversation. And Keziah, people are going to want to reach out to you. I know they will. How best can they connect with you?
I'm on LinkedIn is a great place to connect with me. So if you're seeing me here, you should be able to find me. I also have a website. You can reach out to me through, my business is called Keziah Partners. So that is www.cassia-partners.com. And I know just the offer you extended is so powerful. There are no stupid, we say this, but in our business, with what Deb and I do, there are no stupid questions. If you reach out to us, we will do our best to help you, and really trust that that's what we do. So I hope people do reach out.
All right. Amazing conversation. Wish you happy new year, continued success, and we'll talk to you soon. And thank you, everybody, for joining us. Take care.
Thank you.